This is Monrovia, Liberia. It's one of the poorest capitals on Earth, with a GDP per capita of $670 a year, less than $2 a day. The roads are broken, the hospitals are understaffed, and only 1 in 3 citizens has access to electricity. But at the same time, Liberia officially holds the largest shipping fleet on the planet, with over 5,000 ships. Nearly 300 million gross tons of cargo capacity, more than the US and China combined. All of these ships are registered under its name and flying its flag in every corner of the ocean. But here's the crazy part. Almost none of these ships have ever been to Liberia. Their owners and the crew have never set foot on the Liberian coast. And if you pick a random ship from this fleet, you'll likely find a vessel that was built in Japan, owned by a Greek billionaire, and managed by a Filipino crew, all while carrying Chinese goods to a European port. The only connection any of them has to Liberia is a flag stitched onto their stern. So, how does the world's poorest shipping nation run the world's largest fleet? Who built this system, and who is actually benefiting from it? Well, to answer these questions, we first need to understand a concept called the flag of convenience. Here's how international maritime law works. Every commercial ship on Earth must be registered under the flag of exactly one country. That country, called the flag state, is legally responsible for setting the rules that govern that ship. Safety standards, labor conditions, tax obligations, and environmental regulations. In theory, the flag a ship flies represents the country that holds it accountable. But here's the thing, nobody said the flag has to be the country where the ship's owner actually lives. So a shipping company based in Athens decides it wants to move a fleet of oil tankers. If it registers those ships in Greece, it pays Greek taxes, follows Greek labor law, and must employ crews under Greek wage standards. But if it registers those same ships in Liberia, it pays almost no taxes, hires crew from the Philippines or Indonesia at a fraction of Greek wages, and operates under regulations so loose they barely exist in practice. And this loophole is worth a lot of money. In 1999, the American shipping company Sealand calculated that registering its ships under foreign flags saved it up to $3.5 million per vessel per year. Multiply that across a fleet of dozens of ships, and you understand why over 70% of the global fleet flies a flag that doesn't match its owner's passport. This is the flag of convenience. But you may ask, if Liberia controls a multi-billion-dollar industry with the world's largest fleet paying taxes for its flag, why is the country still so desperately poor? The answer is weird, but Liberia didn't invent this system. America did, and to this day, Liberia is little more than a legal front for a single private company headquartered in a quiet office park in Dulles, Virginia. To understand how a nation founded for freedom became a shell for American corporate interests, we have to go back to 1816. That year, a group of American politicians founded the American Colonization Society with a single goal: to take free Black Americans and send them to Africa. And over the next 3 decades, roughly 15,000 freed slaves made the journey across the Atlantic, settled on the West African coast, and built a country. They called it Liberia, from the Latin word for freedom, and they flew a flag that looked almost exactly like America's, with 1 star instead of 50. In 1847, Liberia declared independence, and for the next century, it remained the closest thing America had to a colony on the continent. That context matters, because in 1948, Edward Stettinius, Franklin Roosevelt's last Secretary of State, was having a big problem to solve. At that time, American shipping companies had been registering their ships in Panama to avoid US taxes and labor laws. But by the late 1940s, Panama's officials had become so corrupt, demanding private bribes so aggressively that American owners were furious. Over 70% of Panama's registered ships were American-owned, and they needed a fast replacement. Stettinius saw Liberia as the perfect opportunity, a country with deep American roots, a compliant government, and no ability to push back. He approached President Tubman with a simple offer: let us write your maritime law, run your registry, and we'll share the revenue. And the Liberian legislature passed it with minimal deliberation. On March 11, 1949, Greek magnate Stavros Niarchos registered the first ship under the Liberian flag. And within 18 years, Liberia surpassed the United Kingdom to become the world's largest ship registry. And to this day, the registry is not run from Monrovia. It is run from Dulles, Virginia, an office park outside Washington, D.C., by a private American company called LISCR. the Liberian International Ship and Corporate Registry. Once a ship is registered in Liberia through LISCR, it pays a modest annual tonnage fee for using the flag. 70% of this money eventually goes to LISCR, and the rest to the Liberian treasury. But when you give a country with a collapsed infrastructure and a budget of under $900 million, the responsibility to enforce safety and labor standards on 5,000 ships across every ocean on Earth, real oversight becomes impossible. And that is when things on board start to get dark. When a shipping company runs out of money or simply decides to walk away, the crew is left stranded at sea or in a foreign port, sometimes for months, sometimes without food or clean water, and almost always without pay. An Indian crew member described his situation. His salary had not been paid for over 3 months. Some of his colleagues had gone 7 months without wages. The company had stopped supplying provisions, and they were fishing to survive. In 2024 alone, the International Transport Workers Federation recovered $58.1 million in unpaid wages from flag of convenience vessels, money that had simply been stolen from the people who earned it. And when the crew tries to seek justice, they discover the jurisdictional nightmare the system was designed to create. The ship flies a Liberian flag. The owner is a shell company in the Cayman Islands. The operator is registered in Cyprus, and nobody has any real obligation to act. And this opacity has uses far beyond saving money on taxes. The same architecture that hides a ship's ownership, anonymous shell companies, offshore registration, zero public disclosure, turns out to be extraordinarily useful for anyone who needs to move something across the ocean without being traced. Not just cargo, anything. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Liberian-flagged tankers have appeared repeatedly in what analysts call the shadow fleet, aging vessels transporting sanctioned Russian oil to China and India, generating billions for the Kremlin's war machine. Iranian oil has been moving through flag of convenience vessels for decades, with ownership structures so layered across Panama, the Marshall Islands, and Liberia that even well-resourced investigators struggle to trace who is actually profiting. North Korean cargo, weapons components, and sanctioned goods have moved under flags of convenience. The same system that helps a Greek billionaire avoid taxes also helps a sanctioned regime fund a war, a trafficker disappear a vessel, and a company abandons its crew in a foreign port with no legal recourse and no one accountable. So, why can't anyone stop it? The International Transport Workers Federation has been campaigning against flags of convenience since 1948, the same year the Liberian Registry was created, 77 years, and the system is larger today than it has ever been. The answer is that the system serves too many powerful interests simultaneously. Greek billionaires, Japanese conglomerates, American oil companies, and European logistics giants all benefit from flags of convenience, and they spend heavily to keep it that way, lobbying governments, funding political campaigns, and ensuring that the people writing maritime regulations are the same people who benefit from the absence of them. And simply, no government wants to be the one that raises shipping costs for its own industries by forcing its companies to register at home.